order. First off, I have a little statement. Apparently someone thinks the city might be in violation of open meeting laws. The committee was set up to review the proposals for garbage contracts. This meeting was not advertised to the public or newspaper, much as the same as other committee meetings in the past. This is not a decision-making committee. The purpose is to go through proposals, provide information comparison, and a possible recommendation to the city council. The city of Washburn wants to make sure we are not violating any open meeting laws, so we will have the auditor make a request for an attorney general opinion on this matter. We will request this opinion for any committee and board meetings that deals with public funds. So. Just want to get that out of the way.
Okay, and I think one thing that we need to say though is recently I noticed on the website, we've had a calendar on the front page or whatever.
I made it larger.
Yeah, that was a good deal because I don't think it's ever a negative thing to make sure we have as much information out there as possible. I don't think there was any issues there, but I don't think it's ever a bad thing. So anytime we have a meeting, let's just make sure that it's public knowledge.
Yeah. Well, I just want to make sure we're following the laws.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Meeting minutes of September 9th. I didn't get a chance to review these minutes because they weren't sent out with our booklet for our things, so I would like to, until I get a chance to review those, I would just assume we wait till next month to approve those minutes. If that's okay with everybody? Okay. Okay, September financials. Anybody have a chance to go through those? Is there a motion to approve the financial?
I'll make a motion to approve the financial. Which sheet you got?
September financials.
September financial.
That's where I was.
Please. So this is September financial.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the September financials.
Is there a motion?
I'll second.
Motion second. Any further discussion on that? Keith?
Aye.
Kit?
Aye.
Aye.
Dwayne? And I. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you also want to table the October 9th minutes?
Yes, I had my hand there.
Oh, okay. Yes, we'll take the October. I didn't realize they were here, so. Okay, Darla Whitey?
Yes.
Prom committee?
Yes,
Or you can say it, it's up to you.
sure. Darla Lighty, I've been on the Wilton Prom Committee for 5-6 years. We've did several things, bowling, swimming. We've had it at our own city hall. This year, for 2016, we are looking to do inflatables. We're contracting through a company out of Fargo. It's called Games Galore. And we just need a bigger facility than what our Wilton Hall has. We can't do it in the school because obviously we just have the one gym and no space to keep them all together. I've looked for area Quonsets and so on and so forth that would have a kitchen and a bathroom and all that to feed our kids and suffice and everything. And it just didn't work, so we contacted Joe and it last week here. Come up and looked at it last Thursday, maybe, I don't remember when it was. And we think it'll work really well. Right now we have a committee of 7 ladies. We have husbands that help. We're looking to bring on some more people because there's lots of exits and hidden corners in your buildings. So I guess my request for being here is I understand there's a $150 deposit and then the $250 rental for the weekend. And in the past in Wilton, we were able to have the Wilton Commission waive those fees for the rental. And I guess that's why I'm asking, because we are a nonprofit, we go solely off of donations.
You're just talking the upstairs?
No, we would use the basement also.
Okay.
What we have planned for the basement is laser tag, so the tables and chairs that are down there, we would move, either stack them on the racks or, you know, put them somewhere so the kids are safe. So that's all that would basically be down there, and then everything else would be upstairs. We'd be using the kitchen up there, and then we have 7 different items, laser tag included in that number, set for different things, and maybe gonna put up a photo booth and build a little miniature putting green and, you know, kind of tuck those things in the corners. And then we'll have table games and music and food and what have you. And our hours are, the kids load the bus in Wilton at 12:30, so they get here just before 1. And typically we try and get done by 4. They're pretty done in by then, and get them all back to the school by 4:30, 5 o'clock, so they can head home.
Did you mention what day this was, or did I?
April 9.
And then it would be for the, basically you need it for the whole weekend, I suppose, to set up and take down and,
You know, I don't think there's gonna be a lot of decorating. I think Friday night would be suffice for what we need. You know, just getting all the supplies and everything up here, getting the cooler turned on so we could use that for our drinks and stuff. And, you know, helping the girls, you know, get their food. We have a food committee, you know, and then maybe doing, you know, blocking off some of the doorways in some manner. But I think just doing that on Friday would be enough. And then the company that has the things, they would come up and I could come up with them. I think they need like an hour and a half to set up, so we'd be up here Saturday evening later, and then all out by Sunday, cleaned and everything.
you guys do your own cleanup and everything?
We will.
and-
You ask for one day? Excuse me, one weekend?
One weekend, yeah.
That weekend's open as far as right now, so. I have no problem with it. And it's for, you know, the youth of surrounding community, so.
The only thing I'm thinking is maybe the money, just in case something's broke or something.
We take the deposit no matter what.
You take the deposit no
Yeah,
matter what.
and I think you and I discussed that regardless if the fee is waived, you would still need to keep that deposit on record with my office.
Sure.
How much is the damage?
150.
And then no damage to get back, so.
Yep, yep.
I will move to waive the fee for the Wilton Prom Committee for the weekend of April 9th for their prom
After prom party.
after prom party.
Yep. Thank you.
Second.
Is that okay? Was that you the second? Any further discussion? Keith?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Yes, way too bad. Aye. Okay, very good.
Okay. Would you like me to come up another day, Joan, and do the contract with you and make
Yep.
the deposit?
Yep, that would be
Okay,
great.
I'll give you a call. I'll come between now and Thursday.
Yep, that'd be great.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
We're gonna move up here to purchase of a new fire truck for Clay, because he's got another meeting to go to. We're gonna move him up.
Interesting night, yes.
Just a reminder to talk a little louder for the camera.
Uh,
Just a reminder for everyone to speak a little bit louder so that we can make sure and get it on the camera. Thanks.
What we did, we had basically 5 bids that came in. All of them except one, or 4 bids, I guess, first original. All of them except one was right around 300,000 for the truck. We're looking at that spec. One was right around 200,000. Problem was that was a bare bones, didn't have everything we needed on it. So we ran across a truck that pretty much fit the ticket up at Gova. And Travis and I went out there and looked at it, and it exactly fits the ticket, which makes it a lot easier. we had those guys spec out that particular truck. And that one came in to about $263,000, right around there. The deal is paying for it. The need is definitely there for the truck, that goes without saying almost. If you do, well, like I said the other morning, 263,000, fire department has in CDs for major truck purchases where we have about 33,000, it brings it down to 230. Truck would be a structure fire truck, use both rural and city if needed, whatever, wherever. And if rural and city were to split that 50-50, that comes up to 115,000 each. City-wise, we already have 40,000 in the coffer for the fire department for a truck. Next year, it would be up to 50,000. That brings you guys down to 65,000 of what we need from the city. Don't know about the 1%. That's probably where we go.
Let's start.
We would need about 90,000 if we, get this all approved. We need about 90,000 within a couple months. They want the chassis paid for when this arrives. The rest of the balance wouldn't be due until the truck is built, which is probably about 6 to 9 months out. And at that time, the balance would be due. So there'd be some time for the rest of it. At that time, in between now and then, we intend on doing our begging thing, send out for whoever can give us money for it. And that would reduce that amount at the end.
We're also selling our current truck, which probably isn't gonna give us much, but we're gonna get rid of that for as much as we can.
So far, we had not much of a bid on it, so.
So, just to clarify, when you sell the old truck, does that comes out of both portions equally, I'm assuming? So,
That just comes off that
Correct.
bottom 230,000 at the
Okay,
end.
Anything we
And
can do
donations
with
would be
that.
the same?
Yep, correct.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, it just drops off of what anybody has to pay at the end of the deal. We asked the Legion, they haven't decided on, I know their thing changed. And we've got quite a few other outfits that do not donate large amounts, but every little bit helps.
So basically, what, are you asking for permission to go ahead with this? Is that what you're
Yep.
asking?
Yep. I guess commitment that the city's gonna be able to come up with 115,000, however we do that.
And just so you know, after this, he has a rural board meeting and present the same
Same deal to
thing.
them.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it would really be 65,000 because we have some money up front.
Yeah,
Right.
right now, there's that 40,000
Okay.
that's in that account, and then by the time this truck's actually delivered, or whatever, it'd be 50,000, and actually there'd be another 10,000 in that account. For the immediate part of it, paying for the chassis, we could use our CDs, 30,000. We would hopefully get 30,000 from the rural and 30,000 from you guys, which would come out of that 40,000. That would pay for the chassis, and the rest of it wouldn't have to worry about until whenever the truck gets built.
Probably looking at 9 months to a year.
Yep. Yeah, they don't really have a good date on when it's built. Sooner is better.
I think we need to supply our people with the best equipment that we possibly can.
Do we just need to move to approve, or what kind of a motion do we need here?
I would say we need to approve purchase of a new fire truck, providing the rural also agrees to it. I get.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, I move that we approve a new fire truck
With the condition that
with the condition that the
Do you want to
rural.
make the motion?
Well,
Maybe it's your motion
He
instead
hesitated.
of Kate's.
That the rural fire department does the same.
You guys don't want to pay the full 230?
Yeah.
So what is the entire motion again? Would you repeat that?
Yeah, that's Larry. No, I move that the city approves the new fire truck under the condition that the rural fire
Protection district.
does the same.
A second.
Okay, is there any further discussion on this matter? Keith?
Aye.
Good?
Aye.
Well,
Aye.
aye. Aye. Should I bring this up? Whatever that is.
Sure. I got another copy of it. Another thing that we have, it has come up, not so much with you guys, but more so with the rural, has to do with who owns what. And right now, the rural legally has Title I pickup. And everything else is in, I went through the titles tonight. Most of them are in the city's name, but a bunch of them are in Washburn Fire Department's name, which is part of the city, so it doesn't matter. In order to kind of make everything equal, it's what we consider a 50-50 joint venture. Everything that's out in the hall, everything we have is a joint venture between the city and the Rural Protection District. So my idea is that, and I talked to Lindell about it, and he said the easiest way to do it, rather than trying to switch titles around and a bunch of legal jargon, is if the city board and the rural board and the fire department board all have a motion, second, voted on, that all the equipment would be basically split even. The way I kind of came up with, the motion was move that all trucks, vehicles, and equipment in the possession of the Washburn Fire Department is considered as joint and equal ownership between the city of Washburn and the Washburn Rural Fire Protection District, regardless of the title name on any truck, vehicles, or equipment. It would just kind of put it to rest. It's a 50-50 deal. And that would be, makes it a little bit easier for any kind of liabilities or anything. It's just a good project.
Basically, all of our equipment, no matter where the fire is, if we need it, it's all going. It doesn't matter if it's rural or city, so.
Yeah, we don't do one of those, it's a real fire, so some stuff stays behind because it belongs to the city. We just figure it's a 50-50 deal.
We're out there to save lives and property, we don't care who it belongs to really, so. When it comes to buying it, everybody's involved, so.
Yeah.
Anybody care to make a motion on that?
I'll make a motion to,
Exactly what he said?
yep, exactly what Clayton said.
There you go.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion on that? I think it would make sense. You know, it'd be a lot easier to take, for, I mean, anything, insurance purposes, I mean, everything, it just makes sense. So, do we, who takes care of the insurance for the fire department?
You get
We
it.
do.
We pay it all?
Yep.
Okay, so,
And then the rural reimburses you for part of it every year.
okay. All right. Keith,
Aye.
Kip,
Aye.
Well,
Aye.
Wayne? Aye.
Thank you very much.
Can you
Thanks,
guys
guys.
both give me your first and
Till
last
next
name
time.
before we run off?
Travis and Clayton Verkey,
Please spell your last name.
V as in Volkswagen, ERKE.
Thank you.
Thank you for all you guys
Thank you, gentlemen.
At least we did not do anything yesterday.
do. Yeah.
Okay, we're going to go to
There you go.
garbage collection people.
Are you?
Can we move up,
Oh, we move up.
like Brad?
Okay, yeah, Brad, you
Just a
want,
quick thing.
we can move them up, sure.
Steelers game on tonight.
Oh, and then put them at the bottom.
Yeah, there you go,
Come on.
never mind.
Cool.
I'm good.
Okay. Replat. So I'm assuming that you want us to approve the replat,
Yes,
okay?
it's all surveyed. You guys have all the information. It's all signed off by Kingsley's Merkles.
And we had had a meeting on this before,
You had a planning and zoning.
planning and zoning meeting that, you know, we had recommended approval of the replat, so I will make a motion that we accept the replat of lots 13, 14, 15, block 2 of Renner's First Edition. And outlet lot, and outlet lot A.
Do you guys all know why it was rezoned, or why it was replatted? Okay. So, the existing plat that the city currently has is, if you were to take, each of these were their own parcel. And so, Tigans are in the process of selling their home. And so, when they're selling these 2 lots, they have a garage that covers both of the parcels. So, and then there was a access easement for 2 garages back behind each of these parcels. So what they've done is on the replat, they have combined each of these into one parcel. So that their garages and their homes are all on the same parcel of property as opposed to each of them having 2. So they pretty much took and they just redistributed the land into one parcel as opposed to 2. So, and then there was an easement that ran, this dotted line right here is an easement that ran through the middle of the properties, and I believe it went through maybe Mr. Tagan's garage. So,
Very expensive easement.
yeah, so.
It's moved.
That new easement, or the new utility lines have been moved around the outside of the garage, and then it comes back in and then follows the original easement that the city has. So what will happen on the city's portion for that easement, when you approve the new plat, you are essentially vacating the old easement that went straight through all 3 of those properties. And we'll now be approving the new easement, which circumvents that garage, makes it safe, and then moves back on. So that is what the new plat will do for Tigans.
And that's all done. The utility work's all done. It's very,
You see that, they've been up there a few days, yeah.
And it's all 3 property owners on it. They all 3 applied for the lot split and the replat all together, and so then the replat is all under all their names, and so they will all sign also.
I'll second.
Did you motion to approve it?
I don't believe
Yeah.
I think you did.
Yeah, you did.
it. Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I did. It was so long ago. Okay, any further discussion, any questions? Okay.
All the neighbors didn't say nothing?
Nope,
Okay.
nope.
Well, I think it was, outlet A was owned by 3 people, or 3 different families, right? And
Right.
each split it, so each owns their own now.
yeah,
Oh,
there's
yeah,
always
I see
just
that
an
one.
agreement.
Yeah.
What was behind your house was yours. So
Right,
nothing's really changed except for the wording.
right. Well, yeah. Okay. Keith?
Aye.
Good?
Aye.
No,
Aye.
right. Aye. Very good.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there anything else we want to move up here?
We can do all that other stuff.
We can do that, I suppose. Yeah, let's do that, let's get some of them out of the way. Ron Hussein, Captain's Cabin Special Liquor License Request for the event of River A on October 24th. I believe it's the same as he did last year. He just basically needs a special liquor license to move his function down there for the day.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Okay. We have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Keith, you win. Any further discussion? Keith?
Aye.
Good.
Aye.
No?
Aye.
Dwayne? Aye. Okay, Tyler Vetter, purchase old lumberyard land. Basically, there were a couple bidders on the old lumberyard property. Tyler was the one that won the bid. He got it for $24,000. So we just need a motion to officially sell it to him.
I'll motion to sell the old lumber yard land for $24,000 to Tyler Vetter.
I'll second that.
Okay, any further discussion? Keith?
Aye.
Good?
Aye.
Well,
Aye.
Grant?
Aye.
Aye. Flies in here.
I got one here. I don't have a license though. Oh, I missed.
Dissemination agreement, Dowdy and Company. Joan, would you like to explain that
Yeah.
quickly?
This is just, Doherty and Company handles all of our bonding, and there's new regulations that, essentially, their reporting regulations that the city has to have on all of the bonds and things that we take out. And so what this does is, they go ahead and do all of the updating and taking care of that information for us. And it needs to be done in order to bond any more projects. And it is in the city's best interest to go ahead and approve the dissemination agreement. So they'll just go ahead and, they give me the information, but they take care of the actual filing of the reports and all of that, so.
And I think it's gonna be about $500.
$500 annually. It is, for this year, we have 2 reports that need to be taken care of, the 2013 bonds and the 2009 bonds. So it's $500 for this year, and then they're estimating that it'll be $500 next year, not to exceed $1,500 on any given year. So.
Any questions from anybody on that, or? Okay, anybody want a motion?
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, motion and second, any further discussion? Keith?
Aye.
Kit?
Aye.
Norm?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Blue King is not here, so we will skip him for now. Okay, now we'll go to our garbage contract people. Everybody's gonna get 10 minutes to give their spiel. On timer, so you can't go over 10 minutes. So, and then after that, then we'll, if we have any questions, we'll ask questions. So, Paul, you're first on the list.
Okay. I'm Paul Kilvatten with Waste Management. I cover this area, and as you know, we've been servicing your community for a number of years. I think we do it professionally and safely. We did put some good stuff in this proposal for you to look at. I know that I wrote it up as a 5-year. It wasn't really specified in the bid, so there's some flexibility there. We lowered the home rate for you. We're still gonna keep the curbside spring cleanup in there. We also gave you some more information on the difference between a rear load and an ASL. It's about 800 pounds empty, and we still would accommodate half loads in the spring. The other thing with the ASL, I think it's the safest and the fastest way to do residential garbage collection. Our company has 10 life critical rules, really, is what they are. And a couple of those would be double siding with the rear load. You'll see that with some, where actually you'll pull along and then the helper will go across the street and pull it. It's a very dangerous practice. So with the rear load, if we do rear load work in any town, traffic cannot go around the truck. It has to be so narrow that that be the only time. With an ASL, as you know, the guy's up high, the gentleman or the woman that's driving the truck and has a clear view, gets the tote and moves on. We also don't zigzag, which is basically taking the truck, going across the street against traffic and collecting. So overall, I think ASL work is the safest and it's the fastest. And also in the spring, even with half loads, the truck isn't sitting in one location. The ASL body will distribute that weight over the 3 axles. Some of them have a tag axle too. So it's more center of gravity kind of held versus in a rear load. It's all in the, kind of the rear of the vehicle, so. And I know that's a big concern, and so we're very willing to work with you on that in the springtime. Along with, you know, lowering the rate per home, lowering the second tow rate. I don't know if we have any in town, actually.
We have 9.
9, so actually, we're aggressive on that price too, so. We're gonna maintain all the commercial pricing the same. We're also giving the city $1 more fuel protection, going to $4. On highway weekly diesel, when I wrote this, was $2.45. We're going to $4. You'll hear, we don't have a fuel table tonight. $4 is, you know, we haven't seen $4 fuel for quite a while. So really, I think it's a non-factor in some, you know, if we get into a real, you know, it doesn't seem that that's the way it's gonna be going for the next term, but we have to protect ourselves too with a deep, you know, with some sort of fuel protection in there. And so we kept the prices the same on the commercial. We are changing up a little bit on the yard waste because of the last, for the last number of years, we haven't charged anything for your over 26. We did your free ones, and then we also did like 50 total, and you didn't get a charge on any of those. I think we're charging disposal now on those, but for the longest time, we just weren't tracking them. So the city did, for a number of years, get, you know, there basically were no charge. So now we're just gonna charge for the pulls and the disposal. And then in the fall, just an hourly rate for that, so, but, and then the continuity of service, I mean, you know how we perform. I mean, every contract's gonna have some issues, but, you know, we wanna resolve them quickly through communication. I know that our route managers are engaged and wanna make sure that, you know, if there are issues and they're brought to our attention, we get them addressed quickly. And I know Mitch has come up and met with you, and especially with the talking, with the spring cleanup and everything, so. I don't have 10 minutes, you know, to go through everything, so, but, do you have any questions?
I have a question.
Sure.
Like spring cleanup,
Yes,
basically, you said you had curbside cleanup.
that's,
What about roll-offs for spring cleanup?
they would be the same roll-off pole charge, so.
Okay, that's right, that's what I thought. But I just
Yep,
wanted to
yep,
check, so.
the springtime cleanup will be no charge.
What is the pole charge?
A pole charge is like when we pull it, and so the charge to,
What is that?
that's
150?
150, yeah, oh,
Okay.
you
Plus
can
dumping.
bring it back down,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
So that's what that is, so considering the time involved and stuff, we were able to kind of come back on the house rate because, you know, if you can encourage residents, and I know some people are very meticulous with our lawns, but actually leaving grass clippings can add 1 to 2 fertilizations, you know, per year on your lawn. I mean, I know in the fall, you know, the leaves and that kind of thing, but I think it's a great way to just kind of encourage recycling your own lawn clippings too, but I know some people really want to have their lawn bags, so. But anyways, we looked at where we were sitting on the poles, and considering, I'm hoping you'll consider the years that we didn't charge anything, which was a number of them, and that, you know, we just didn't track them, so. So that's what happened there, so.
Anybody else have any questions?
Well, it says here, 5-year contract term, you'd be flexible.
Yes. You know, it wasn't specified as 3 or 5, so I just went with 5. But yeah, I sent out an email that, you know, we're flexible, or actually verbalized that we're flexible on that, so. Because that's kind of what I had presented. So originally was kind of just a 3-year addendum to our original contract, so. But I just thought, well,
So 3 or 5.
yeah. And I think it's important, you know, the continuity of service, and we have everything in place. We already know the routes. You know that we have a lot of technology on the trucks and safety equipment on the trucks. And, you know, if there is ever an occurrence, we take that very seriously. I mean, I think we had a mailbox issue. We went out and talked to the gentleman, and you know what I mean? We address those things very, you know, because that's important. That safety is huge for us. So we have daily safety topics, weekly safety meetings. Even in the bathrooms, there's postings of, you know, hey, think about this, and it's changing all the time. So safety is just a real big part of our culture, so.
I think another concern was the damage to the totes, you know.
Yep, getting those replaced, yep, we gotta do that. As the totes age and reach the end of their lifespan, and in considering the weather that we have in North Dakota, you know, we're gonna see a little bit more of the broken totes with the ASL in the wintertime. Making sure that your courtyard or your stock room is filled with some totes and getting those switched out is gonna be very important going forward, and making sure that, you know, you don't run out and you don't have big holes and things like that, so.
It almost seems like your hydraulics are a little bit fast for,
We
you
ha-
know.
We had one vehicle, I think that was damaged up here, and then the
Dan
arm.
Underwood.
Yeah, remember this got T-boned, so that arm got a little, but they resolved that, so, because we do have, so you gotta making sure that, you know, that can be an issue, but I think that's been resolved, I mean, for the most part. We did have there was a patch there with a few broken totes that went through, so. But yeah, you know, every one of those totes is a cost to us, so, that we break, so, you know, right?
Now, on these poles for a roll-off,
Mm-hmm.
is that 150, is the disposal in on that 150?
No, then there would be the disposal, so.
How many tons you figure in them roll-offs?
You know, you're gonna be looking at 2 to actually 4 tons. You know, if it's real wet grass and stuff, it's gonna be a little heavier, but maybe around 3 tons in there, so.
And what's the tonnage disposal rate right now?
Right now, we're at 56 per ton, so,
So you're looking at possibly $200.
yeah.
Is that the standard rate for Bismarck?
You know, we're gonna do is with the new contractors, we're going to look at our primary disposal location, give you that rate, so it would be Mercer and be at $29 a ton.
Be an extra $336.
For roll-off? And we had 50 in 2014?
So about $500 a roll-off.
No, we need 500 roll-off. If you have 4 tons at $56 a ton, that's only $224, and then plus a 150 is only,
Well, you gotta take 56 times 6,000 pounds. That's $336.
56 times 4. Yeah. But you're not, I mean, 4 tons is a heavy roll-off box of grass poles, you know, they could be 1.5 to 2. I'm just giving you
So
the
it'd be
worst
about
case.
370 total.
about 370 total, right? Between the pole and the pole,
Yeah.
you know, like heavy.
And we had to look at, you know, the rate per home and then the number of poles, and so if we could reduce the home cost, and then, because not everybody probably uses those boxes, you know, so if you were to pass on some of that savings, I don't know. But, not everybody uses the yard waste boxes, so there's some savings for those folks that don't. And it's a service, and you guys do pull a lot of, those are a lot of boxes that you guys are pulling, so, you gotta consider where we're coming from and where we gotta go to and that kind of thing, so.
Any other questions?
What if a roll-off is not being used?
If it's not being used? Well, if it's just sitting there and not being used, you mean? Well, yeah, we don't have to pull it until it's full, you know, we're not going.
We usually call them when they're full. The Public Works will tell us when they're full, and then they'll
Do we
come
get
and fill
charged
them.
for, like, the remodeling if we don't use it?
That one is a different one, the
That's a dumpster.
roll-offs are the big grass and tree roll-offs
Oh,
behind the
down there.
office. But that one over at the Memorial Building, we are charged
No matter
once a
if
week
it's-
for that one.
No matter if it's used or not?
Yep.
And that's one thing, I mean, if we would need to maybe downsize it because you're not using it very often, that kind of thing.
Well, if we have an event, it's gonna get used.
Yeah,
Like right now, it's probably, we lock it up.
we could look at, a less frequent schedule.
Case Ed uses it.
Yeah. So, we could look at maybe an every other week or something like that, if you think you're not using it weekly. I mean, we could figure out something there. On some of those, tweak it a little bit. I think we had the service levels down pretty good in town, so, I don't hear overloaded dumpsters or anything out of town here, so. And our driver's local, I mean, he comes out of Underwood, so, and I think drivers that take a lot of pride in their work, and we've got some new folks that are driving on the residential route, but the same guys kind of doing your commercial stuff, so, you know, they take a lot of pride in their work and making sure that you're happy too, so.
Anything else? Okay, thank you, Paul.
You're very welcome, thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
Okay, next on the list is Rick from Dakota Sanitation.
Hi everyone, Mr. Mayor, council members, my name is Rick Anderson, Dakota Sanitation. I'll try to keep it as brief as I can. I know I'm a little long-winded sometimes, but that's okay. I guess similar to the original proposal I spoke with everybody about, our company here has been in business for over 35, almost 40 years now. And we've been specializing in rural residential and commercial garbage service along with roll-offs. Primarily our company runs all late model equipment, and to be even more specific, just traded off 2 2014s for 2016s. Any chance to upgrade equipment and keep them new with new technology and everything, including rear cameras. Now we primarily run rear load garbage trucks. We do have the option to run side loads, but my personal feeling is that you lose serviceability to clients. One way to cut down long-term cost when you're considering like your cleanup day and also keeping the town looking better is to actually build a service what folks have throughout the whole season. And I've shown that and proven that in many different cities and communities and stuff like that, where when you can take everything throughout the whole year with a rear load. Nothing wrong with one-arm bandit. We call them a one-arm bandit. It's more easily explained. Heil builds a rapid rail. Heil's a brand, and stuff. You can't always get everything in that, that clients have. Now, it doesn't mean that, unlike Paul, and no offense to you, Paul, from your area, you'll have rear load garbage trucks servicing dumpsters, and I'm sure they could also have, with the one-arm bandits, they could have somebody swing by and pick up what a client may have. So I can't discredit that in any means, because both are very functional. It is nice to make the one pass down the street. I know when people talk about safety, that is something we do promote. I mean, very much, and we were taught as young children to look both ways before we cross the street, whether to be getting towed or not. But making one pass down the street is always kind of nice. Now, if the street's fairly wide, yeah, you might do that, on certain streets, depending on the street itself, and stuff, just so you maintain being on one side. But generally speaking, you're off to the right, you have flashes on, you have rear cameras, a lot of strobes going on, and they're well lit up. We do have a lot of policies regarding the schools, stuff like that. We're not allowed to be around any schools during recesses or when kids are being let in or out of schools. Actually, it's a block and a half. We have to stay away, just for the safety of the kids. We're very kid-friendly when it comes to that. Speaking of containers, obviously, and that'd be like for any town that we'd acquire, or any community, of course, obviously we'd be bringing in all brand new equipment. Now, when it comes to the totes, or the residential carts, we'll be more specific, politically correct here. When it comes to the carts, just like what we did with the city of Mandan, we allowed them to choose their own carts. And there are 3 different basic brands. Well, there's only 2 that I would even recommend. One would be the Rarick Pacific and or Schaefer carts. And there's a reason for that. I look at them from a point of how do they stand, how stable are they. Obviously this weekend we had a lot of wind, and you want to look at where the carts went and how they went. Utilizing rubberized wheels, which now Schaefer carts, they'll send them to us with 12-inch rubberized wheels. From a side-to-side displacement, pretty sturdy, pretty stable. And then you got to look at how they're supported underneath, how tippy they are, stuff like that. Because the last thing you need is animals, dogs, being able to easily tip them over. And if you have a very stable cart that can't be tipped as easily, well, then you eliminate a lot of mess too. A little bit about the carts. Dumpsters, obviously those will be all brand new. We actually utilize Netherland Industry containers. I do that because the primary reason is they don't fade as fast. And we do use a dark brown in the color. We try to, even our totes, we use those in a dark forest green, more so. I guess it'd be hard to show you the color here, but either way, they'd be a dark forest green, the totes, but a very dark brown in the containers. Keeping them inconspicuous, of course, you know, that type of thing. Thinking about your grass and your compost containers that we were talking about, I know I'd given all the prices and stuff, you know, in our proposal and whatnot, but no, the compost itself, there is no charge for compost currently at the Bismarck landfill. And if you're talking about just having a wood container, straight up wood is, what we pay is $15 a ton for wood. So that's basically whatever our landfill is. And it's, you know, now if you commingle everything, well then obviously you'd end up with probably a $25 charge if you commingled a bunch of different items together like that. And obviously if it couldn't go in there, if you mix cardboard with wood. But is it my contention that you have a straight wood container, is that correct?
Tree branches.
Tree branches.
Oh, tree branches.
Yeah.
Those are 15 a ton at the Bismarck landfill.
It's not construction lumber, it's just trees.
Yeah, it's just
Trees,
trees.
yeah. They will accept a certain amount of pallets and stuff like that also, as long as it's not green treated, you know.
Okay.
And that all of our garbage would be transported back to the Bismarck landfill. Likewise, in our contract, our terms, you know, we don't really dictate to our customers. We let our customers dictate to us what they want. They tell us what their needs are. We accommodate them to their needs. When we're talking about even spring cleanup, for instance, you know, when we're talking about that, you know, everybody looks at cost. You know, our costs are pretty basic. It's, and we're upfront about it. It's simply put, labor, landfill, fuel, whatever the disposal is, and we'll dump it at the cheapest place we can possibly dump it, whatever that may be. And I think when you find out when most of it's being handled throughout the season, you know, accordingly, you know, we can have our clients, your residents, businesses, they can contact us directly and say, hey, I've got this large pile, I really want to get rid of it. I know it's over and above and excessive, but can you guys take care of me? Sure we can, of course we will, you know. It's better to get it out of there than to have stuff piled up and waiting for the city to pay for it all at the end of the year, because then it's handled on an individual basis. Because, you know, everybody pays for it one way or another, and I guess what it really comes down to, there's always those folks that really don't have anything, and in essence, they're actually paying for somebody else to get their stuff disposed of too. So it kind of spreads it around a little bit that way, and keeps it more fair for everybody, I think, in that aspect. And likewise, like the cities that we currently haul, example, Medina and Streeter have both opted to skip a cleanup day because there just was nothing. You know, we've taken it through the whole year. And if they did it as an every other year thing, they're looking, because what prompted that is, as we go out for a spring cleanup, we bring in all this equipment, we get out there and you barely fill 2 trucks, and it's like, well, obviously our people are doing their job and we're taking care of them. Let's see, what else can I touch base on? Unlike Paul's thing, us too, sorry Paul, I'm reiterating a little bit here. We do have regular safety meetings, and it's based on seasonal stuff too, seasonal driving habits, safety around kids, big deal. Kids love to follow that garbage truck in the summertime. It's our policy is that you can't move that truck if there's kids around anywhere near that truck, because they want to follow them with their bikes and everything, and actually you have to send them home, unfortunately. And sometimes you have to be kind of stern and to get them to go home, because it is a dangerous environment. You know, whenever you're cycling stuff through, it could be a piece of anything falls out, bounces, and you know, you gotta watch for those type of things. So, so far, does anybody have any questions or anything you can think of? I don't wanna skip by too many things too fast.
I do,
Okay.
unless
Go
you
ahead.
had one.
I have one, go ahead.
Okay, just going back to the residents who have extra garbage, you say you
Mhm.
pick that up throughout the year. But here on number 2 of your proposal, it says that, like you had said, anyone who has extra can contact Dakota Sanitation directly, and then Dakota will accommodate the request by either billing the resident directly or charging accordingly with the
Going
city.
through the city itself.
So-
That's entirely up to the account,
So you
how they
pick,
like
so
it.
you do pick up throughout the year, but they are billed for it, the residents are billed
Correct,
for it?
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
how much are they billed?
It just depends on the item or what they may have.
So do you have a billing schedule fee? So their residential tote is like $17, and then anything extra, you have like a fee
Correct.
schedule that they would
We're
get?
$15 per cubic yard. Now that is measured by the back of the hopper of, per se, the garbage truck. Most of the garbage trucks that we have are all 3.5 cubic yard hoppers. If they're 3.5, we call them a 3, depending on how it's loaded and stuff, and it's measured in that quantity. And it's also based on weight too. Now, if it's really light, we'll go down as low as even 850 per cubic yard. So if you fill the back of the hopper, there's 3 yards, you'd have a 3-yard charge. depending
Okay,
on
so
the
I don't
items.
really speak that
I
really
know
well.
it's kinda.
So if I had a
kinda
couch that needed to
If you
be
had a couch,
disposed of, what
I'll
would that
simply
charge?
put the couch is $20.
My only concern with that is it seems like if I'm bringing something out to the curbside, I have to rely on the judgment of how heavy it is for the people lifting it.
No, not actually, because I guess if two people can get a couch out to the curb, we always have two people in the truck. So two people can obviously crush up a couch and go, you know. And I like to reiterate on the couch thing a little bit. If it's a hide-a-bed, those are 25. Those do weigh a little bit more.
They're
It's, just to make sure we're on the same page.
Yeah.
Mattress example are $12, because we're gonna pay for that item, even though I do vehemently disagree with the policy at the Bismarck landfill, because once you crush up a couch, it's no longer a couch. But we are asked to we've been requested by the landfill to always report those items as our people do when they get into the landfill. So they can say, look, I got 2 mattresses in this load, and here you go. And then they will charge us accordingly, plus the weight.
So what about electronics?
Electronics actually have to be handled separately. So now, like, we have electronics, they can be handled in a number of different ways. They can put in, I mean, not a lot of people have that much, but if they have like a computer, typically speaking, we'll charge, well, it's 15 cents a pound is what it comes out to, but we don't run every little piece of electronics to the landfill. They end up in our roll-up pile. And with electronics, generally, like a computer, we'll charge $20. A TV, usually $12, depending on, you know, and stuff. So you cover your expense for transporting it and also disposal. Because all that has to go, all the electronics, even during cleanup day, they have to be taken over to the Bismarck landfill, and then they pull all the stuff out, as we've been doing.
So is that something they would need to notify you in advance if they were putting on the curb or
Not
outside of
necessarily,
their
no,
tow?
but we do appreciate it. But the one thing we do need, though, is we need an address on the house. And I'm sure that's
And
pretty much
that's-
regulated by the city, of course, that everybody has to have an address on their home. Is that not correct?
We're supposed to.
Supposed to.
Yeah.
Doesn't always happen, I know.
Yeah.
Well, and sometimes contacting,
Most of
you know,
Yeah.
your city auditor and say, you know, this doesn't have an address, they got a large pile, we'd like to get rid of it. Can you tell us who this place is and stuff? And now there is special consideration. Our people are trained, well-trained, to make sure you be fair to the customer, but be fair to the company too, unilaterally. It is important. Now, there's gonna be those folks that maybe they have 1 bag a week in their container, this and that. And then all of a sudden, they skip 2 weeks. And then the next week, they happen to have 10 bags. Well, you know, our people are there and they're consistent. And our people have been with us for many, many years. And I gotta admit, I'm very proud of them. I couldn't be happier if I were twins, or I wouldn't be sitting here today talking to you. I really wouldn't be. And they know how to treat people very well.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
I don't want
have
to
a
carry
quick
on.
question.
Go ahead.
How many axles are on your trucks then?
Now, on a rear load garbage truck, you're gonna have a rear and a front axle. They're gonna be a 2-axle truck. Single axle rear. We call it a single axle because you're based on what it is off the rear. So, yeah. And even if we did do a side load, the biggest truck we're gonna go to is a 20 cubic yard rear load garbage truck. Or if it was a one-arm bandit, if that's what the city wants, if the city says, you know, we don't want you picking up from side to side. We can do as the city wants to do. I don't see
And that
this
would be
improvement.
and that would be a 3-axle?
No, that'd
That'd be
be
also
a single axle. We have
Okay.
2 of them currently right now, which are gonna be in place for the single stream recycling project in Mandan, of course. And that was their contention, you know, and stuff like that too. So, and I guess the last time I was here, I went over the reasons why, the importance of that, of course, you know, why you wanna go with them. Us, it's tire wear and tear, it's cost, it's fuel mileage, stuff like that.
You got your 10 minutes.
Well, I got my 10
Any
minutes
other
already.
questions? Any other
One quick
questions?
question, are you flexible as far as the contract term?
Actually, we do need a 5-year. Yeah. It's gonna take us 3 just to break even, so. That's on the cost of the cost, so.
That's
Sorry,
side load.
cut you
No, it's good.
That's a 20-yard one also, your side load?
If we ever did use it, but I doubt we'd ever use it because part of my issue is when you dump a tote, right around the corner could be a dumpster. We don't want to be sending trucks back and forth up and down the streets. It seems kind of not very prudent that way. So pretty doubtful we'd ever go to a side load on that. So those are mostly based, if you guys ever wanted to go to single stream recycling, then that would be the only time that that ever be considered. If you want to consider this recycling for the future, right?
Any other questions?
What was the gross weight of your trucks fully loaded?
Fully loaded, well, of course, it's going to depend on the load. They come in here from 35 to even 39, I suppose, 39,000 fully loaded. Empty weight is more an easier measurable weight. You're looking at approximately 26,000 empty weight. And generally speaking, they'll get 5 ton, 6 ton on them, you know, so. Now, if it's wet, that's when you gotta be careful. If it's raining a lot, you're gonna get a lot of water weight. That's when you really gotta watch your stuff, because you don't want the overweight tickets, so, yep.
Mary, may I ask a question?
Oh, yes, you may.
Okay. Good question to Joe, by the way, on the same side.
Speak loudly.
I'm big into recycling. Is there any thought about having a bin or anything as far as any of your services? Would you ever pick up bins for recycling?
Yeah, we did speak about that briefly.
Yeah, that's in several of the proposals here about recycling, but basically the city would need to decide to go with that, and then it would be kind of like community thing like Bismarck does,
Yeah.
And, that's maybe something in the future we'll consider, but not right at this
It would
time.
be very nice, because I know a lot of people do recycle, and we do take all our stuff now down behind Kmart and Bismarck, and those bins are full all the time.
Yeah, I used to take stuff up to the WKRP also.
Yeah, I did
so.
too, but then put back
Okay.
those, but I just thought it would be really nice.
What we'd probably do if the city wanted to contend with that is probably either curbside, or you'd have a single roll-off container with multiple lids going on the side where you could have it dumped in and then dispose of it accordingly.
That's what I was
So,
thinking.
you know, that's something to talk about.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Rick.
Thanks, sir.
Okay, Circle C, Dan.
Just circle.
That's not Circle C?
Just circle.
Why did it Circle C? Well, that's because the name of that brand.
Oh, yeah, we're not a brand, but
Sorry.
that's all right. It's a common term that we hear a lot. I'm Dan Ruby from Circle Sanitation. I'm glad to be here, appreciate the opportunity to bid. We're a family-owned company. We're in our 3rd generation. I have my daughter here who's my office manager and pretty much takes care of everything. And my father likes to come to these as long as he doesn't have to sit here. So we're here to present our bid and tell you a little bit about us. Like I said, we're family-owned. We've been in business for 35 years. And we do serve a lot of communities. We actually haul about a little over 50 individual communities. We've actually outbid Waste Management for 8 of those communities. And most, I guess, closest to your area, Wilton and Stanton. We also do Pick City of Riverdale. And so our transition history is pretty good. We've transitioned from another company to our company and done it very well. Got a lot of compliments on that. We also have privatized some operations where the city was running them, such as Stanley and Tioga, and we've taken those over and done very well with that too. So we do run a variety of trucks. We do have the rear load and the side load. In the mined area, we also run front load, and then of course we have our roll-offs as well. So we can offer, whatever service is necessary. We are moving more towards the side load because of the automation, and in some cases it might be getting a little easier now, but labor issues of trying to find help in western North Dakota is pretty difficult. So we're moving towards automation, and it is kind of the wave of the future here with in the refuse industry. So we did present the bid to use the automated side load with the tote for each resident, and then another one available. It doesn't sound like you have very many that use the second one, but that's fine. And that's good that they're getting all the garbage in that one, and then either recycling or waiting for bulky items on cleanup weeks. We did put in for the 26 free roll-off containers for the bulk items or compost, whichever. We also added the 3 roll-offs and the curbside pickup in the spring and in the fall. So it'd be 3 in the spring and 3 in the fall. Basically, it's as we come in and do the curbside pickup of the bulk items, we'll either work at hauling them over or what people would bring over, and then we just get them all out of there so people don't put anything that's unacceptable waste in there, like oil or chemicals or anything like that.
Usually during cleanup week, we have it gated and we
Okay.
have a person there, so.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, we'd be glad to work with the city employees with that and with the residents. Other than that, some of the trucks, we use a Our side loads, we have a couple of 20-yarders. We use those in Stanley only because when you have a single axle, the gross gross weight that you can have on the back axle is 20,000 pounds. But if you have a tandem, each one can only have 17,000 pounds. So 34,000 with two axles. So actually, in my opinion, a tandem will actually distribute the weight better than a single axle. But we do have in Stanley, because they have a transfer station right in town, and so we use that transfer station, and it doesn't go out on the highway. For Ray and Tioga, we use a 28-yard Heil Packard side load. I just had the guy weigh it this morning when it was empty, and he said it was roughly 33,000 pounds empty. When it's full, it's gonna get to that 46,000 pounds that it can legally be licensed for. However, you can get about anywhere from 580 to 600 totes in one truck like that. And your numbers showed 480. So we wouldn't even be filling the truck by coming here. And we'd bring it in town empty, and then as we filled it, we would be hauling that out.
How many axles are under that 28-yard, 3 axles, I'm assuming?
Yes, yeah, it's a tandem in the back and single steering axle. And then our rear loads, most all of them have a third lift axle in the back. And those are licensed more. Their empty weight is roughly 36,000 pounds. And then some of our bigger ones, like our 28-yarders, which we only have one in the Minot location, one in our Noonan location, those are about 38,000 pounds empty. So we use a variety of different sizes. So 25 is the most common size that we use, and generally those are that 36,000 when they're empty. And the turning, I don't think the turning necessarily damages the roads as much as a large amount of weight on the axle, but it does wear the tires because they will skid. And I haven't ever seen really a lot of issues with it turning. Maybe if you just had some tar and chip or something on the road, that would probably have something like that. But I do see you have some new streets and they're nice and smooth, so I can understand your need to keep them nice. So with that, I could probably talk all night about our company and about our family and how many members of our family working in it. But I just like to thank you again, and then I'll stand for any questions.
I see, okay, there's 26 free roll-offs, and then it's 375. It says including landfill costs, so that's included in that price?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's what I thought, but I just wanted to double check.
Yeah.
Okay.
You provide the dumpsters for all of our commercial
Yes.
people in?
Yes. Yeah, our price includes and I know it was referenced about the fuel surcharge, but we've never charged the fuel surcharge, but it includes the hauling fees, the landfill fees, the fuel surcharge, and the dumpster rental part of, it's all basically just the flat fee, so. Doesn't fluctuate up and down, and we have had fuel over $4 a gallon for a couple of years. We've just been enjoying a much lower price right now, and I hope it stays, I really do.
So with the side axles that you've been using in other communities, have you seen an increase in the number of totes that are broken in the winter because of that side axle? Do you go through a lot of totes?
We don't, and we use a toter brand, and we don't go through a lot. Actually, when it's been really cold and we've unloaded some trucks, if we set them down too hard when they're stacked up, we broke probably more on our own that way than we have. So we have to be careful with that because they're so heavy when they're stacked in together. But on the regular use, we get some here and there, but usually our driver, especially in Stanley, is where we're using the side load for the longest. They just tell us, hey, we need some more, or we usually let them keep some on hand in the town, and they switch them out either that week or the next week when they notice. So if somebody would call, we would be switching them out right away.
What's your policy as far as for commercial or residential for extra charging? If you have larger loads, let's say a commercial, keeping loads, is there any extra charge for those type of things?
No, we don't have our system set up for capturing that. If it was all the way around the dumpster, we would probably go to to the guy and say, you know, this is gonna cost extra because it's so much more, we're gonna be running the hopper quite a bit. If there's some boxes or bags alongside the dumpster, we don't charge extra on that, we don't charge if it's heaped up. Generally, if it's consistently heaped up, what we'll do is, just talk to the owner and see if we can't size up the dumpster and make it look good for them and good for us too, if it's consistent. If they just happen to be cleaning out and they had some that week, we don't do that. And I'd welcome you to call all the, you know, if you know some business owners in some of the towns I've mentioned, feel free to call them.
One thing in this bid comparison that confused me is on the top it says free roll-offs per year 26. And then down here it says estimated 50 roll-offs per year needed. And then under, by you guys, it says free roll-offs 32.
Well, it's a 26
We
and then
get
there's-
3 extra, or 6 extra for 3 in the spring and 3 in the fall.
Okay, okay.
yeah. And of course, we make sure that, you know, either you, if you have an arrangement, either you tell us they're full or our driver sees that they're really full before we pull them. We don't want to pull them half full. Any other questions?
Just again, what is your, for electronics and larger items, is that on a per weekly basis, or is that just, you like to just pick those up on those spring or fall cleanups, so the residents would just kind of?
We could, I mean, if they have something smaller, like some of the smaller printers that would go in there, laptops and things like that, we just throw them away in the can. We don't have a requirement that they be separated. City of Minot has never restricted us necessarily on those, and for the most part, even some chemicals are under what you call household quantities. So that's why you can throw your cleaners out and things like that, and you know, but we try to make sure there's no lead batteries, like for car batteries. We watch for that kind of stuff, and there's a camera as the tote dumps in, so we can see that stuff and stop the packer and then, you know, climb up and get it. It's not the funnest job in the world, but we gotta watch for that stuff. So the camera will, there's usually one in back, there's usually one on the, because you're driving on the right-hand side, so there's one on the passenger side for traffic, and then there's one up for where the tote would dump in, so you can see what's going on in there.
And are the totes chipped? Or no, or is that, do you have like computer chips or UPS chips? Or
This next load we're getting, we've ordered them with a reader. I don't have the reader right now, but we are ordering it for the chips, so that they can be more easily tracked by us. At some point, we should be able to get, what I've been hearing is coming down the line, is you can, and maybe Waste Management has it, because they're kind of leader in some of that technology, is you would be able to read if that was dumped that day. And if somebody called and said, my garbage wasn't picked up, you could check and see. Yeah, either, yeah, you're right, it got missed, or no, it did get dumped. So, but we don't have that, but we are ordering it with the chips just to, because we see some benefits in the future with that. And we can, if one gets blown down the street somewhere and we need to find out where it goes, we already keep track of the numbers and try to line them up with each address. But it seems like it'll be a lot easier if we can just scan it and get the readout.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
And what if in the spring, if we request you to only come in here with the rear load?
We can do that. Our rear loads have a cart tipper on the back, and we can tip them out. Like I said, even empty, they are a little heavier than the side load. But you know, certainly if you don't want 2 trucks basically in town that week, we certainly can do that. Generally, what we've done too is if we've had a soft area or they're doing construction on a street, we either work with the city and the homeowners to relocate the containers. In some cases, we've even set a dumpster over in an area for those people to use during that time too. So, but yeah, I mean, we're willing. We can, certainly we bid it to use the side loaders for the most of the year. But if you have a certain period of time, within a month that you want us, we certainly can do that. It's, our trucks will accommodate that.
We're always concerned about spring load restrictions, so.
Sure.
But that's with everybody. So.
Yeah, yep. It's a concern for all trucks, that's for sure.
Any other questions?
Your side load is 20 yards?
Well, the one that we have in Stanley are, the other ones we have are 28 yards. Yeah.
That's comparable to a single axe for a 20 yard and a.
Yes,
and a-
we have
and
single
a
axle.
double axe for a 28
28, yeah.
yards.
Yeah, we do, those 20s are single axle, and actually they're former Grand Forks city trucks. And then the tandem ones I got used out of Oklahoma, so.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
Question I got, what were your trucks, what's the total loaded fully loaded?
The truck is licensed to 54,000, but they often pack out, I went through scale tickets, 42 to 43,000. They're 28-yard ASLs. So, and they're similar in weight that you heard tonight for the ASLs with 3 axles, so. But yeah, they don't often pack out to that, because I went through scale tickets and, you know, they're that 42 to 43,000, because you just, you know, you just can't pack them, they, you know, you just, yeah, so.
Anybody have any other questions for?
Well, I guess I was wondering, you know, like Ed was on the committee, plus he's a business owner. So I guess I was wondering what your thoughts were. Not to put you on
The way the contracts or the way the proposals are set up, the homeowner's got a break. The business owners, all except for one, the business owners is more. Looking at the proposals on those 26 totes, that's a huge deal.
Roll-offs.
Or those roll-offs for the yard waste. The spring cleanup's a huge deal. But the fall cleanup, if you drive around and look, I mean, our fall, we started this cleanup kind of when I was on the commission many years ago. You know, the first few years, you'd see huge piles in these yards. You drove around this fall, or this last cleanup, and I mean, you had some piles, but not like it used to be. And a lot of the stuff that was laying out there, if you could get rid of it throughout the year, you probably could eliminate the fall cleanup.
My only concern is that we have some people in the community that would never get rid of it.
Right. Well, if you had a pile of wood at your house, so you had a pile of wood at your house. If
Yeah.
the garbage truck would've took that pile, you wouldn't have needed to clean it.
Yeah.
May I also ask another question? Okay, now you said that you're in Minot. Are there 2 different companies there in Minot?
Well, there's a waste management division, and then there's a company called B&E, and then there's another family-owned called Holford Sanitation,
Okay,
and then one that just does roll-offs.
okay,
North Coast
because
it's called.
when I'm up there in Minot, I notice people have furniture and stuff out in their yards. I mean, any time of the week. 'cause
That's
I
the
think
city
it
of Minot
comes-
that does it.
That's the city of Minot that
Yes,
does
they
it,
do their
okay.
own, yeah.
So, and they just come along and only just pick up sacks and
And they're considering side,
Okay.
totes with side load.
Okay.
They're probably one of the last larger cities to go to that.
okay, okay. All right, thank you.
Any other questions for anybody? Okay, we can either decide on a collection contract tonight, or we can mull it over for a day or two, whatever you guys want to do, which means we probably have to have a special meeting. But I'm sure these fellows would like to know.
Yeah. I like the idea of the roll-offs, just because it keeps our city clean.
I'm gonna make a motion to accept the bid from Circle Sanitation. Under some stipulations in the springtime where we can work out, hopefully we can work out something for, you know, lighter loads in that time, because we have put lots of money into these streets, and that's the last thing that any of us, or any city person, citizen wants to see is stuff wrecking again. So that is my motion.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second.
I'll second.
Okay, further discussion?
Well, I guess my only concern is the commercial rate. And how that will affect the businesses.
Anybody else? Have any discussion?
Well, then one other thing, I guess, you know, like if these go down, you know, let's say it is less for the individual, is that actually gonna be shown on our bill? The citizen's bill, or do we, you know, is that?
It'll have to be kept at the rate it is now.
You mean the amount of garbage?
No, I'm saying like, for example, if it's saying right here, the monthly rate goes down from what it was previously, will the consumers see that? Even though it might only be 75 cents or $1, or is the city still just going to charge the same amount and absorb that money?
Well, go down $2, won't it?
Yeah, we're at eight, we're currently at 18.
But it actually would.
Yeah, it would.
Our town's typically added $1 to $2 extra to what we charge to their residents, so if that's lower and you charge you $1 over that, they should get a reduction.
We generally,
It's a pass-through for us.
can we get like 50 cents or a quarter or something?
We haven't been, because the rates have been continuing to
Okay,
increase.
so they will see the impact. It won't be where we absorb that extra $2.
That's up to you guys, but I would say no.
Okay.
You know, we
I
have
would
seen,
hope not.
we have seen the garbage rates continuing to go up, and, some of the services have been decreasing, you know, for landfills and that sort of thing, so I would think it would be a great thing for residents to be able to have a reduction in the cost and not actually see a reduction in the services with that, so I think that would be very nice.
Any other discussion?
Well, I guess not to dwell on this, but I guess I go back to the commercial, you know. I mean, have we talked to any of them? What's your,
Unless Larry has,
No, just you and Tim, basically,
Right.
you know, and
You know, the commercial folks have to pay that bill every month, and I know that our roll-offs have changed a little bit, but if our commercial rates are better than what you're seeing, I think it's great for your business community that, you know, they can maintain a lower monthly rate and, you know, so, because they need that service, whereas with the roll-off, like I said, not everybody uses that service, but.
If an account though is getting charged with additional stuff because it's got a little bit more over the lids.
Yeah, that
We're higher because of the, you know, because what we're charging, but we're not doing that additional billing for additional stuff like that. It could be a wash.
That doesn't happen in Washburn, no.
okay, any other questions or comments from the board? If not, we're gonna vote. Okay, we have a motion to go with circle sanitation. Keith?
Aye. Aye.
Good?
Aye.
Well,
Aye.
Dwayne? Aye. Motion carried.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Congratulations, Dad. Super on
Okay, Blue King, request to purchase city-owned property inside his house on Fifth Avenue.
Thank you.
Nine home.
Well, what, did he have a proposal, or did, he just was interested in buying it, and that's, or was he looking for a price, or?
Just asked that he's interested in purchasing the pool lot beside his house, and that's all the information I had.
Oh. Well, okay, we're gonna skip that because we don't have a proposal from him, so.
Blue, pink.
Okay, second reading of ordinance for de-annexation of Patty Schultz. We'll read that real quickly.
This is second reading of. Yes?
But I was just wondering, as far as the transition between Circle and Waste Management, when does Circle start?
January 1.
January 1st, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There'll be some logistical issues there.
Yeah, I was wondering about that, okay.
More work for Joe.
So second reading of proposed ordinance 150, an ordinance excluding property from the corporate limits from the city of Washburn, North Dakota. Be it ordained by the city of Washburn, be it ordained by the city commission of the city of Washburn, McLean County. Am I done?
Turn it off.
Be it ordained by the City Commission of the City of Washburn, McLean County, North Dakota as follows. Section 1, territory excluded. The territory and land hereinafter described is hereby declared to be excluded from the corporate limits from the City of Washburn, North Dakota as follows. Township 144 North, Range 82 West, Section 11, Southwest Quarter, Southeast Quarter, line north of US Highway 83 right-of-way. Section 2. Provisions applicable. The territory to be excluded is a result of a petition by 100% of the owners of the territory to be excluded. The territory has been within the city limits of the City of Washburn, North Dakota for more than 10 years. The property has never been platted and there are no municipal improvements thereon. From and after of the final passage and adoption of this ordinance, the territory hereinbefore described shall be excluded from the corporate limits from the City of Washburn, North Dakota.
That's it.
That is the second reading and final passage.
I will make a motion to accept the second reading and final passage of the de-annexation of Patty Schultz's land.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Keith?
Aye.
Good.
Aye.
Well,
Aye.
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 Larry, I just sneak out. I wanted to ask you, did anyone from the Attorney General's office contact you at all
No.
today? Okay. They were gonna give you a call, possibly. We talked to them on Friday, but. Okay, just wanted to check on that. I think they are wanting to avoid having to send out an opinion if they have to, just because they take like months to get. And everyone I've talked to has been pretty one-sided as far as believing that it would have violated the law. So there,
Hey, lady.
I have to be somewhere at 8.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Wow, I was like, wow. Yeah. Good.
So,
Now we can talk about it. Just kidding.
right? And I'll just leave my recorder here.
Request for no parking sign along 6th Street by the school.
This is up along the back side of the school, 6th Avenue, 6th Street. And there are a number of residential cars belonging to residents that park right along there, and Waste Management has had a difficult time the past couple weeks getting into the garbage at the school. So they just asked if they could put a couple of no parking signs along there to.
Yeah, and the only reason I know about it is this last week I came behind the truck and I was trying to get in there, but there was a car right on each side of that area where they're trying to get in, and there's no way they could back into it. So then they had to back all the way back down the street, and all they want is the entrance. They just want the cars to have to be back just a little bit with a no parking sign on each side, so they can back into that without any issue.
Why don't we paint the curbs back so far, because that means no parking. And if somebody is parked there, then they get a ticket.
Yep. Yeah, we could do that too, yeah.
I mean, or else what are you gonna say, no parking on Tuesday between,
7.
Well, it would probably be it'd be no parking 10 feet from this area, all the time. because, you know, to leave it open. And it could be used, it could be painted too. But I was just behind them, and he was pinned in there, and there was cars on both sides, and he had a hard time even backing back
Is
up.
there a school exit door back there?
Yeah, there is.
So it'd be an emergency exit that
Yeah.
will possibly be blocked as well?
Yeah. You know where we're talking about? It's back there by where the garbage is,
Across from Brad
playground.
Hanson's.
I know what he's talking
Yeah.
about, yeah.
By the shop?
Yep, yeah, no, before the shop though, yeah.
You know, it's always been full of cars during school time, you know. And so are these residents or are these people that are actually working at the school?
No, these are residents.
I guess I would like to see painting of the curbs first, but
I think so too, because how do you tell residents not to park? You know what I mean? I mean, obviously, I understand the garbage part of it,
well, right, yeah, I do too.
but I think painting it, like you said, and that don't work. A few tickets should get the hint across.
Yeah, and you know, we could actually maybe request people not park so close. I mean, most people are pretty open to a nice, friendly, well, you know, garbage trucks having a hard time getting in.
Problem is though, in that area though, I know I've talked to neighbors in that area too, they're really having trouble with the number of cars, you know, just because those people in that area have a lot of cars,
Yeah, they do.
you know, so that's an issue there. But yeah,
Will
the
they be able
painting
to-
might work out.
Will they be able to see the painting in the wintertime?
That's another thing.
Maybe.
Will it absorb
Um,
through the snow?
The thing is, it's such a tiny little area. I mean, I hate to have a sign here and a sign here, 20 feet apart. You know what I mean? Not that it can't be done, but you know, what do
Just like
signs cost us?
No
to put up?
parking between signs.
Pretty pricey.
They're kind of spendy, you know. By the time you figure labor and everything, it's, you know, over $100 a sign, easy.
Don't we have quite a few signs out in the garage though? We have some out there already?
There might be a couple no parking, yeah.
Well, it would have to be no parking between signs.
Yeah.
Right.
Do we have any of those?
I doubt it. Usually
Yeah, to the
they're,
corner, we've got.
it's not the corner between signs.
Right, I'm just thinking out loud.
Those are like what we put behind the door of the Memorial Hall, or behind the building between the doors,
Yeah. Probably don't.
I would say.
But this might be enough to grab the attention of residents, you know,
Yeah.
try the painting.
You know, and then how far do we put it away from the turn? You know, how much room do they need? Why don't I go look at it, and then I'll go up there with Turk and look at it, and we'll come up with something.
Tomorrow's gonna be your perfect opportunity.
Should've done it today, I couldn't work out.
Well, the garbage will be here tomorrow.
Oh, there you go.
So we're gonna be able to kind of.
Sit up there tomorrow.
Tuesday.
Did you get him?
Yeah. Come up there around 7:45 and stake it out.
So we're gonna table that one then?
Yeah. Okay. Jasper, let's get you done.
Okay.
Just a quick update on the project for this year. We're working through some final punch lists with Quam. I see a few issues in Missouri that I'd like to have corrected. But otherwise, I think there's some, more or less just some minor restoration items to get cleaned up, and otherwise I think the paving went really well.
It looks pretty good.
So, I mean,
Go ahead.
I guess unless you guys are seeing anything, I know I had asked previously and I hadn't heard anything.
I guess my question is down there by these guys' place. You know, I guess I must have misread the map. I thought it was just not gonna have curb and gutter, but was it always supposed to be that narrow?
Yep.
Just because you can't meet with two cars without going off the road. It seems
Right.
strange.
It's I would say at most it's 1 foot different than what it was before, other than maybe in that curve.
And the reason I ask is because they
Corner.
cleared it out so nice, like as if they were going to do it like they normally would, you know, as far as the road is concerned, and then they put that prairie trail in the middle, you know, so. Then of course, when I was driving by, I got a car and had to go into the gravel, so.
It was looked at to widen it out, to see if,
Mhm.
to maximize it, and then, for cost reasons, it was brought back to try to match what was there. And I guess, the only thing I can really see that's, you know, maybe noticeably different is there at the corner.
Yeah.
Across from Sharon's.
I guess in the straightaway, you know, I'm driving my pickup and there's no car that could go by me. You know,
How wide is that down there?
I think 16,
No kidding.
that's probably
Huh.
probably the shortest width down there.
Do we need a one-way around there?
I
then?
think we originally looked at
Yeah.
20.
I know, that's, well, you're gonna have to.
Well, yeah, I
do.
can't, I guess that was decided by the commission.
Yeah, that was
We were drawing up, but wow. can't
and
believe that.
when I looked at that map beforehand too, I was just assuming just by the map that it was just no gutter, or gutter, you know, in that, curb and gutter. You know, I was just surprised when I drove by there. And then the other thing is Binsfield and Crest were saying something about, there used to be a manhole cover down by their place.
Yep, she was just trying
Oh,
to.
okay,
Yeah, well,
okay.
She was trying to tell me that when I got scolded, so.
Okay.
I'll look into that, I
Okay,
guess.
okay,
Brian had to go look in that manhole many times,
okay.
but it's not there anymore, so.
Which one's that, the Fourth Main?
It's
No.
by Katie.
No, it's where the pavement and the gravel
Oh.
came together.
Is that still there?
No,
Or did that get taken out?
that's out.
Okay. What about the gravel out washed into the storm sewer? They gonna clean that up, or did they?
Yeah, I mean, that's on the punch list for them to look at, to see what's in there.
Let me know when they go look at it, I'll come with you.
And I don't know what they can do, but they probably should say things to the citizens, because I know they take the, when they put water in the houses, they take the spouts out, and then they throw them on the ground, and then they dry out, and then you put them back in, and then they all leak.
What?
They all leak.
Taking what out?
They take, you know, your spigots out, because they need to put
Oh, when they
water
hook
back
on,
in.
oh, I see.
You know, and, you know, I kinda wish, and it's just not myself, it's several residents that then the gaskets dry out, you put them back in, and now all the spigots leak. You know, those are just $50, $60 a piece, you know, or,
Okay.
you know, so I guess, you know, they should at least think about, I'm sure this has happened before, they should have at least told the residents.
Like,
that,
are they
you know,
taking like a backflow preventer out, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, the whole spigot comes out.
want to contact you with organizing.
Cross for you.
Faucet out of the house?
Yeah, why would they take that
The
out?
inside of it out.
Some of those, because they have backflow preventer.
Right.
Oh, in the actual spigot
Yeah.
itself?
Yeah.
You're not gonna take this out. That's good.
But anyway,
Yeah, I mean, that's a good, something to.
you know, all they
think
have to
about
do
for
is just
next
tell
time.
everybody, hey, make sure you keep them in the water or do something, you know, but those gaskets all dry out now. I've had a few different people.
We can specify that, I mean, that,
You know, in
I haven't
future-
heard that on any of the
Okay.
projects we've done previously, so.
Yeah.
But if, we can certainly specify to have, if they have to take your backflow preventer out, then they put your gaskets in.
Yeah, or something, or just tell you to put it in water or something. I don't know.
I'd rather just have a new one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excuse me,
If you wanna go by my house, Griffin, both sides.
I think maybe that corner by Barnes's, you know, like 15th Street, you know, goes up, well, let's say Missouri Avenue, you know, goes by Stevens' house.
Give it to them, okay?
I don't know if you, as the engineer, you know, does something to that corner, or the city does or what, but I'm afraid in a couple, 3 years, you're going to have a lot of erosion.
one, that one dip there.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
man,
that goes,
pretty
that
hard.
goes down into like Siemens, you know, backyard there by the
I
trees.
seen that too.
Yeah, there's going to be, you're
Is
really
that what we
gonna
were
wanna-
talking about, Brian?
Mm.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's one spot I'd like to add, when I talk about some
Right,
things
right.
I'm gonna do, I'd like to have them add a little bit more dirt there.
So something, you know, I don't know who, you know, corrects that, but I think something probably should be done.
I'm more concerned about somebody driving off of it than I am,
Oh, yes. My husband
worried
did
about the
one
erosion,
time.
so.
He landed down in there.
Larry,
It's icy, yeah.
Larry,
That's what
one's for
happened.
them and one's for us.
Right, I'm gonna read it before I sign it, so, yeah. Anything else on that project, or?
No, they're gonna replace, Jane Coon's, retaining wall, that was another thing that was looked at, and, I had met with her, and, you know, it's covered pretty well in the contract too, so I'm not, I think they're definitely liable for that, so that shouldn't be an issue. Other than that, need to meet with you guys about next year's project, and I guess I'd like to do that next week. I don't know what your schedule's like. Or, is an evening better, or?
Oh, definitely.
Okay. Like a Wednesday or Thursday,
No.
You're not talking this week, you're talking next week?
next week, yeah.
We're gonna Tuesday, so maybe Tuesday at like, so maybe at like 5.
On Tuesday.
Yeah, 'cause I looked at it too and I thought,
It's gonna
wait
take
a minute here, how long a run is that?
Yeah.
See, I was thinking it's gonna take us more than half hour.
Think so.
Wow.
5:30?
I would wonder done it before, I guess, so.
What are you thinking?
You guys should plan for an
Oh.
hour, so that would put you at 5:30.
Right. He's looking at next week, Tuesday the 20th.
At 5:30?
Good thing you said it, because I suppose they got to digging that other thing up and then ended up burying it and thinking, well, that's what else could be.
Don't you guys have your things then?
He wants to do it after that.
Oh, after, what
Yeah,
time are you
after.
doing that?
4:30.
Oh. I suppose.
They need to go away from the camera.
Hey,
Sorry.
Does that work for you, Larry?
gonna have to.
I guess, and then I was
So-
hoping that
5:30, you said?
Brian could be there, or, you know, some member of the Public Works. And you. I'm just bringing it up because it's would be after hours for them.
Yep.
Well, at the time he leaves, we ask him to be there. Okay, yeah, that'll work.
Okay, 5:30?
Yeah.
I did start looking at it, and my initial reaction was it's a pretty big area.
We had a question.
I've been gone a couple of the meetings about this lagoon pump. Did we go with the bigger pump now, or did we stay the same size? Because I know you had questions on how that was all gonna be handled. Did we ever decide on that pump?
It was actually already ordered and on the way.
Okay, so we had no choice but to keep up with the size we had, so I kinda lost on that. Okay, now that one's good. We were gonna cut that sidewalk of mine, remember? That didn't get done.
That short piece, right?
Yep,
Okay.
that didn't get done. I'm not happy the way I left my other driveway, my rock one. There's could be a little more dirt fill or some little more gravel put in there. I don't know what, something needs to be done with that one. And then we were gonna patch my cement one too. That didn't get done either.
Did they come bring more gravel?
Not to mine. Maybe to my neighbor, but not to mine. I wasn't around. If I would've seen him doing that, I would've jumped over there and told him, hey, over here, buddy.
Let's make sure we get that taken care of. so,
Okay.
yeah.
Do you have overlanders on there too?
Overlanders?
I addressed Joan, so I waited my week and nobody showed up. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know,
It was passed along.
I know
Yeah.
you did, but nothing happened, that's why I come. Okay,
Sorry.
I'm done.
Did you get
Thank
all?
you.
We'll get it, we'll get it.
I know, thank
Yep.
you.
Yep. None of those were new, so.
Sorry to make you wait so long for that.
I know how
They've
meetings
been
are.
very patient, the residents are all very patient, so.
That would have been impressive.
That's all I have, I guess. I anticipate Quam putting together a rather large pay estimate, for the project. I'm looking at you because you pay the bill, so. But I haven't seen anything yet. But I would assume it'd be a majority, if not the rest of the project, so.
Okay, apparently, there was a water line issue up on 4th Avenue, but where they were at last year, between Kelch's and Walkendorf's.
That's taken care of.
Well, it's been taken care of, that's all done. They each
That
have
way
their
was-
own line now,
It was on the homeowner side.
Yeah, it was homeowner.
but
So
they each have their own line coming in.
That
it's
was-
still
they-
going under their driveways.
They were not part of the project area. So they were told, for the water, they were not in the water main district. So they were told that
Oh,
if
really?
they wanted that separated, they could hire a contractor.
I see,
to
okay,
do that.
got it, okay, very good,
And the current leak is from the curb stop towards the house,
Right.
yeah.
okay, all right, very good. Anybody have anything for Jasper?
I just had one thing to throw out there. I have had a couple residents up along Sundown Park first, up around Jennifer, and then into Linden Lane that have requested or have been asking about their roads when they would be included into the project.
Usually you don't have people asking for it.
Couple of years.
Couple years back,
In a couple of years.
in a couple of years. Is there a master plan? Not like-
We'll get that master plan on Tuesday.
All right.
Well,
Well, just because I've had because we had the one group that had asked for proposal, and then there was another resident that stopped in and asked when that area was gonna be done also, so I just wanted you to be aware that
Okay.
they were asking from there, so.
yeah, that's a good topic of conversation for, next week. I think we should maybe look at kind of a master plan for the remaining areas going forward, because a lot of people are starting to ask those questions, and I think it would just be good to have something that you guys could just provide people, or, we've kind of been sort of loosely using the previous one that was done, along with just sort of picking areas that, need to be done.
Right.
So with, now that the areas are getting limited that are left, I think we could probably look at, actually penciling those into more specific years.
Right.
I think that all the, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Joe, but all the sewer issues got taken care of with Quam's insurance company.
Correct.
So
Yep.
it happened very shortly after the last meeting, so
That was amazing.
yeah, it was good timing, I guess.
It was the next day.
So their ears must have been burning, I guess.
I did have one more, and I'm sorry about that, but that portable dumpster, not dumpster, bathroom.
Porta potty?
Yeah, you seen it?
Yeah.
The second wind took its toll on that thing, and then it tipped over, man. Are we done with it, or can we dispose of it, or?
Yeah, I'll let them know that to get it out of there.
Cause, hate to tell you this, other people use it besides your workers. You couldn't believe this.
It's the contract, it's the contract.
Yeah, I know, but I'm going, oh my.
I'll be the first to admit that I used it last week.
Well, I know,
so-
but you wouldn't be surprised.
Serious?
Just driving through town.
I was looking at stuff down there and I didn't want to drive up to City Hall.
I know, you'd be surprised.
Wow, man.
Other than that, 4th Avenue, they milled it between 6th and 7th, and when they were here, they said they'd be back in 2 to 3 weeks. But they reassured me they would be here this year. Take that for what it's worth, I guess. But they do want to come back yet, and they said they had some other work in the area to do yet this year as well. So.
Did you ever get them up there by my place?
Yes.
That chip seal and stuff?
I guess I have they came back, they shot back that they wanna do it next spring. I'm not very happy about that, but one thing I think maybe you guys could consider is, depending on what your opinion is, we could maybe try to negotiate with Bituminous Paving for some of the patching work they did for you guys. In exchange. I've been looking at a lot of seal coat jobs in Bismarck and in other communities, and I see a lot of spots that look very similar to that. I mean, I have no problem pushing them to come back and do it. I just, I guess that's something you guys consider. Is how big of a deal is it to you guys? And,
Yeah, I mean, I just, never got anything done.
Yeah.
So what did you just say? Exchanging the patching of this year for chip sealing?
Yeah.
So should we pull that bill out of the pile that we're about to pay?
That was one idea I had. I guess I didn't know they already had a bill in for it.
So
With
was
9.
your area, weren't we talking about chip sealing quite a few areas next year and we okayed it? Was that just one of the areas?
Mine's already
His was
done.
previously
2 years.
done, it was more
2
of a
years.
warranty issue.
Yeah.
Where it looks like they had some issues getting some oil down, and then, the rock that they throw down didn't stick.
It was in 2013 that was seal coated.
I almost really hate to swap some work for a crappy job on a project.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It should be redone.
Yeah.
We should get what we paid for. Because we're just gonna have to come in and redo it anyway. So I would just assume they fix it, but that's just me.
I feel the same way.
How big of an area we talking? Pretty big?
There's just a number of spots. It's more, I guess I've never put a tape to it, but there's, just random spots kind of all over the area that they did.
Wow, yeah, they should have to fix that, I think. Because if we don't, when are we gonna get it done again?
So I guess I would recommend that we get something in writing from them, saying that they will do it maybe before you pay the bill.
Before we pay which bill?
I mean, you have a bill from Bituminous Paving.
For the patching, you mean?
No, it's separate from the project.
Yeah.
This project has nothing
the
to do
patching.
I
with.
said patchwork. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the patch, sorry.
Yeah. I said that, you made me, I did say patchwork.
Although they did the patching, so.
They're the same ones I did the chip sealing with, obviously. Yeah, I guess it should be done then. We have a motion on that to make a letter, or?
You can make a motion if you would like.
Because here, I guess here's the process that I would go down. Okay, we started last fall, providing them, warranty issues that they needed to correct. And this was provided to Quam, who's technically the contractor. When I brought it up again this year, he cited the fact that he thought his foreman, who had passed away, took care of those issues. Okay? They said, all right, we'll address those when Bituminous Paving comes back. Well, their schedule kept getting pushed and pushed and pushed, and now you're out of seal coating season.
That's true.
And so they got the paving done, and they're gonna correct, 4th Avenue. So I guess to have any teeth to any of this, I would have to write a letter to Quam's bonding company telling them they're delinquent on correcting these issues for, 2+ years. And wherever that goes, it becomes a fight, and I guess, I was just trying to look at a simpler solution to, and maybe they'll provide a letter, maybe I can just ask them to provide it, and maybe
We just
they
call
will,
them.
But, I mean.
So you're thinking that would be the easiest way, would be to hold that until they, at least hold it for now until we come up with an agreement on what to do. Hold that paying of the patching?
Right, I guess, admittingly, kind of trying to be a little bit of a hard ass, but they've made you wait
Right.
now for how long?
Right.
You
Okay,
know,
let's do
it's-
that, let's pull that out. Everybody agreed on that? Okay. And then you're writing a letter, or what?
Yeah, no, I'll just ask them to provide something in writing. And it technically needs to come from Quam, but, you know, because they were the general contractor on the job. And if they're willing to, and they, you know, Dave Quam's been very committed to, you know, correcting the issues.
Mhm,
You know,
mhm,
but
mhm.
it's not him that's
Right.
doing it.
I hear you.
That's my issue with it, is he has to get somebody to do it, whether it's bituminous paving or somebody else, so.
Okay.
But to me, if he's gonna have, they're all part of what's going on here.
Well, if Quam is the one that is responsible for that, then by holding the bituminous pavings bill, how is that gonna? You know what I mean? You said Quam's ultimately responsible.
But
So
they told me that bituminous paving wants to do it in the spring. And I wanted to respond with, well, are you okay if we pay you for this year's project next spring? You know, it's like.
Well, it's too late to do
It's,
it now
to me,
anyway,
it's
so.
just, it's a very simple answer that, you know, okay, but, you know, you guys have been waiting for, you know, a year now for a
Yeah.
correction on this, and.
But, yeah, but I mean, but you can't do it now anyway, so. It has to be done in the spring anyway, right? Because it's too late in the year.
It is too late, it cannot be
So-
done.
Thank you.
Thank you, George.
Well, as long as they do it, that's what I'm worried about, too. Do what we need to do.
Okay. And I guess, I'm not saying not to pay it, I would just like to get something in writing from them before.
Before it's sent out.
Yeah.
All right, we will pull that from our bills.
So, and whether that letter has to come from Quam or, you know, Bill, the owner of bituminous.
We need to move on that.
We'll just pull it out. Anything else for Jasper?
That's all I have.
Jesus. We'll put the pet ordinance on hold. You know what, it's really not that much, but, you know, it's getting late.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, portfolios,
What about Lynn Oberg, I'm sorry?
he's not here.
That is actually part of my portfolio. He was just going to come in and wonder what Washburn was going to do about their water, because their samples were still high at times from McLean Sheridan site. And Adam sent out a letter, I believe Larry ended up receiving it, I don't know if the state.
It was sent to everybody,
Did he? Okay.
I believe.
And it just pretty much explained
no.
that he's trying to make some adaptations with the chemicals to hopefully bring that down before we have to go to any other step.
They're going to do a trial with using potassium permanganate, which is an oxidizer, to reduce the organic matter in the water, you know, which ultimately reduces total trihalomethanes.
And then that last test will be November 10th, and then
Right.
after that we'll have to discuss it.
Right, apparently they did a jar test and it looks like it could really work out pretty
Yep.
good. He's waiting for approval from the health department right now to do it. He's been in contact with them, so that will be.
So anyway, he sent that out to Lynn Olberg, and then as soon as Lynn ended up receiving it, I'm sure that satisfied him, and probably let him know.
He stopped.
Did he?
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, I'm good.
Good.
Oh, I think we covered it with that fire truck, that was about all I had, so.
Well, right? Okay, a couple quick things. Anything on the Keski house yet?
Nothing other than what I had last
Were
time.
they gonna be back to you or something?
They were sending her out to both her and the city, but we have not received
Not
anything
received
yet.
anything?
No.
Okay.
Larry, can I say one more thing?
Nope.
Noel are gonna do a human resources meeting, next Tuesday. So I think I sent an email out to everybody, but if anybody has anything they'd like to add or anything, please get a hold of one of us.
This is just a meeting between the two of you, or are you discussing with employees then?
No, just between us, and then we'll fill
Yeah,
out the forms, and then we'll have a meeting later.
okay.
Oh, because it's just between you two, okay, I
Yep,
see. Oh,
yep.
I thought you were doing the, or,
No,
okay.
no. We're gonna fill out the forms first, so that's why we need some input.
Okay, sure, okay. Did you ever do any mowing, check for mowing letters or anything, sir? See what you can do. I know there's a few that really are
Well, I
bad.
know, but some of those, like I say, those big areas like have hills and stuff.
Yeah, but you go down to like the old Heiser property.
Oh, okay, you want more like that rather than some of these big plots that nobody's ever.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're obviously not gonna worry about coolies. But like I said, the old Heiser property, something like that.
Yeah, there's,
No,
I'll
some
have
places
to
just
ask you
look
about, yeah.
Yeah, we can discuss that when we look at the school.
Okay.
This city meeting on the website, Joan, that's not on there anymore. I see, well, I couldn't find it today. When I told you about it, it didn't work. And then I went back to it and it's not even on anymore.
Yeah, you're correct. Because when I changed to make the calendar bigger, it's on a back page, it's no longer on the front page.
Oh, 'cause I looked
So
through everything.
I'll make an icon for it. Yeah, sorry about that. I had rearranged it, to get that calendar bigger and didn't even think about that being a link to that, so I apologize.
Okay, burning ordinance 147 was never had a second reading and was never approved, even though we've been following it for a while. So that's something we're gonna need to probably do next meeting.
What is that one?
It's the burning ordinance 147. All it ever had was a first reading.
Can we get a copy of that?
Yeah, it's on the website, plus Joan can send it out too. And then other than that, just, the just trying to get, a little more information out, before the meetings, like, this time it wasn't the minutes, but,
I run out of space on the,
Can you send it
on
to
the,
me?
sure.
That way.
And it's always available in the office too, but yeah, I'll try to get more out. So.
Okay, other than that, Joan, what do you have?
I think we're good. Garbage collection just ended. We had, a lot of Freon, a lot of refrigeration units this time. We're training on software on Wednesday, on our new software. And as soon as we get some of the final billings, we will be moving forward through special assessments. And we had the audit last week, that went very well. They were pleased with everything, the 2014 audit. So we're just finishing up a couple of things with that, and there's a federal audit that needs to be filed, so she was taking care of that paperwork.
They do that?
Yes. And everything else is going.
Okay. Anything else? Sharon?
No.
Turk? Okay, has everybody had a chance to review the bills? I make a motion to pay the bills with the exception of the bituminous paving patch repair, which is like 9,000 and something.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion on the bill? Steve?
Aye.
Good.
Aye.
Wow.
Aye.
Wayne? Aye. No other business, meeting adjourned. I'm going to read over this contract before I sign it.